To understand how the U.S. annihilated the Iranian fleet, one must first understand what they were up against. Iran's naval forces are a two-headed hydra. The first head is the traditional navy composed of aging frigates and corvettes. The second is the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy, built upon an entirely different doctrine, the swarm. Declassified footage from Iranian underground bases shows this swarm at rest. The Iranians have carved kilometers of tunnels into the Zagros Mountains and along the Persian Gulf Coast. Hidden within are hundreds of small Paykop and Zolfaghar-class missile boats, anti-ship missiles, and naval mines. Iran's concept was simple. In the event of conflict, this swarm would simultaneously erupt from dozens of camouflaged exits to overwhelm American giant ships. These small, inexpensive boats were designed to saturate the Aegis air defense systems of U.S. destroyers through sheer numbers. However, the swarm doctrine has a critical, fatal vulnerability that Pentagon analysts have highlighted for years. A swarm requires incredibly complex logistics and command. Without centralized control, without motherships capable of refueling these boats and coordinating their targets, the swarm devolves into a blind, disorganized mob of mosquitoes. Therefore, when the crisis erupted on February 28th, U.S. Central Command didn't bother chasing individual boats, they struck the brain of the swarm. Two primary targets of the Iranian fleet were locked in: the Iris Shahid Bagheri and the Iris Makran. The Shahid Bagheri, a former container ship that Iran spent 5 years converting into an ersatz aircraft carrier for launching Shahed drones. Commercial satellite imagery clearly shows its distinctive angled flight deck welded over the red commercial hull. The Makran, a converted oil tanker, serving as an expeditionary sea base, floating command post, and ammunition depot for those very boats in the underground tunnels. Both were moored at the Bandar Abbas naval base. The Iranian command made a classic mistake. They trusted their air defense system and left the ships with their auxiliary boilers running. To satellites equipped with shortwave infrared sensors, these ships glowed like neon signs. 6 hours before the strike, a U.S. Virginia-class nuclear-powered attack submarine quietly took up position in the Gulf of Oman at a depth of 60 meters at 2:17 local time. The order was received. Tomahawk Block 5 cruise missiles launched from the submarine. The Tomahawk missile approached the target at an altitude of 30 meters above sea level. Iranian electronic warfare systems attempted to jam the GPS signal. But Tomahawk Block 5 missile is immune to this. It utilizes terrain contour matching and digital scene matching area correlation. The missile literally saw the pier with its built-in camera, cross-referencing it with satellite photographs. The first strike hit the hull of the Shahid Bagheri. The 450-kilogram warhead detonated inside the hull, not on the outside, piercing the steel plating. Immediately after this, another missile landed in the opposite part of the ship. And 73 seconds later, a second Tomahawk struck the Makran. Iran lost its expeditionary fleet in a minute and a half. After the destruction of the motherships, the Americans moved on to the surface warships. This video serves as an illustration of the surgical precision of this phase. This is a Jamaran-class Corvette, one of the most modern ships in the Iranian fleet. The ship's radars continuously scan the horizon and airspace. The Iranians are expecting a threat from the sky, American drones, or cruise missiles. But they are looking in the wrong direction. Look at this declassified black and white footage. Notice the angle. The camera is located just a couple of meters above the waves. The specific crosshair on the screen is a stadiometric scale. We are looking at the Iranian ship neither from a drone nor from an airplane. We are looking at it through the optronic mast of an American Virginia-class nuclear submarine. The submarine has risen to periscope depth.
Warship bearing 054, range 1,000 yards.
It does not use active radars so as not to give itself away. The submarine commander simply observes the target in absolute radio silence. At this moment, a heavy Mk-48 torpedo is already in the water, heading toward the Iranian frigate at a speed of about 50 knots. The crew of the Dana suspects nothing. The ship sails steadily, making no attempts to maneuver. The detonation occurs at a depth of several meters, right under the keel. The explosion of nearly 300 kilograms of explosives creates a massive gas bubble that strikes the bottom of the frigate from below with colossal force. In the video, this moment looks like a giant white dome of water that literally tosses the 1,500-ton ship into the air. Let's look at the numbers. Iran built Corvettes of this class for nearly 10 years. The cost of a single unit is estimated at hundreds of millions of dollars. It took the American submarine one torpedo, costing about $5 million. And one precise calculation to send this investment to the bottom. By March 10th, realizing the loss of their major ships, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps shifted to a plan of desperation. 16 small high-speed boats emerged from the underground bases. Their mission was fatally simple: to mine the fairway of the Strait of Hormuz with bottom mines. According to intelligence, several dozen mines have already been laid in the shipping lanes. The IRGC boats set out in the dead of night, without navigational lights, in strict radio silence mode. The commanders of these boats were confident that the darkness would make them invisible. They failed to account for what was watching them from above. Strike drones and patrol aircraft were hanging in the air. And this is where it gets really interesting. Look at this declassified footage from U.S. Central Command. The main strike platform of the operation is the MQ-9 Reaper drone. Not fighter jets, not cruise missiles, specifically Reapers. And this is no coincidence. The MQ-9 loiters at an altitude of several kilometers, silently, invisibly. The operator, sitting somewhere thousands of kilometers from the strait, sees the thermal silhouette of the Iranian vessel just as clearly as if they were standing right next to it. Then, a split second, the operator initiates the launch. A Hellfire missile leaves the wing. Look at the scale of these explosions. Boats 10 to 15 meters long cannot explode like this from the impact of a single light missile. This pure, blinding flash that tears across the screen is a secondary detonation. The American missiles detonated hundreds of kilograms of explosives in the naval mines with which these boats were loaded to the brim. They burned in the flames of their own weapons. 16 kamikaze boats, 16 targets. The entire group was eliminated in less than 20 minutes. This is a brilliant preemptive operation. And at the same time, only the first round. Analysts estimate that 10 to 20% of Iran's missile potential has been destroyed. The IRGC's fleet of small vessels is massive. The coastline stretches for hundreds of kilometers, and mine stockpiles are located in warehouses all along the coast. Following the successful U.S. and Israeli strikes, Iran responded. Look at this footage. And this. Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. The Iranian regime has begun mass broadcasting videos generated by artificial intelligence, showing them valiantly destroying the U.S. Navy or the Israeli Air Force. Videos like this one have also appeared. Naturally, this is only effective on the domestic audience. And in this day and age, it's honestly hard to believe it works at all. After that, when rumors surfaced that the U.S. might send ground troops to Iran, content creators didn't wait around and quickly produced a propaganda response. I'm talking about this video. Watch a short clip from it. But aside from harmless stunts like these, Iran exerts an incredibly severe impact on the global economy. On the evening of March 18th, Iran attacked the area of Ras Laffan, one of Qatar's largest industrial centers. About 20% of all liquefied natural gas in the world is produced here. Here is the result of their attack. Imagine what could happen if Iran were to acquire nuclear weapons. It's something you don't even want to think about. And all the wars happening in the 21st century feel like some kind of surreal nightmare. That's all we have for today. If you enjoyed this, you can check out more of our videos. Thanks for watching.